This episode of Access to the Arts has been made possible through the support of First Bank Richmond, with 8 locations in Wayne County to serve you. First Bank Richmond and you, doing great things together. Hi, and welcome to this month's Access to the Arts on Whitewater Community Television's WETV. Thanks for joining me. I'm Eric, Executive Director of WCTV. Greatly appreciate you spending some time with us as we continue to find out some of what's going on in the arts this month. Now, during last month's show, we got to hear from the Richmond Civic Theater, find out what their upcoming shows are going to be for the season. This month, we get to hear from John Cook, Civic Hall Performing Arts Center. John, thanks for being here. Always good to see you.
Thanks for having me. I'm
glad to
excited to be here.
Talk a little bit about what your last season was like, a couple of the high points that you hit. You had some interesting shows.
Last season was really, really good. We opened with the Texas Tenors, who've been here 4 times now. The audiences here really appreciate and enjoy their show. Plus, they have a really, really good following that go around with them around the country, and they're just
their version of the Deadheads. Huh?
Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, there are people that have seen them over 150 times that were at our show. I mean, it's crazy, but they're incredible. Yep. They're very talented. We had Henhouse Prowlers, which was a bluegrass group. They were really good, a little bit different than what we've done in the past, but they were, I thought, excellent musicians and really entertaining. Our Christmas show was away in the basement, the church basement ladies.
Church basement ladies.
They cracked me up. So I thought that they were really, really impressive just with their traveling show, because basically they're bringing everything with them, their props. And it's like a musical comedy that you would go see on Broadway or off Broadway, something like that. But yeah, they're really, really good. So really excited to have them here. We had Cross That River in February in honor of Black History Month, and we also did it as a kids show for the first time. I thought it was really well received. The short end of the stick, though, it was the snowstorm that we had on that day in the evening. Yeah. So we had a bit of a smaller crowd just because of traveling was not as convenient.
It was a rough night.
It was tough, but the show itself was really, really good. And we closed with Artrageous, which is a combination of the visual and performing arts together, and we partnered with the Richmond Art Museum. We had some folks that were there that had done a workshop earlier in the day, painting, and then they came and actually were selling paintings. And the show itself, they're performing and doing paintings on the stage while it's going on. It's pretty amazing stuff that they've created. So all in all, I thought the season was really, really outstanding.
Great. You've got a great lineup coming 24, 25, yes. Basically. Wow, it's hard to believe that we're saying that.
I know.
And you talked about the Texas Tenors coming back.
Right.
Voctiv is coming back.
Voctiv, they're opening our season. We had Voctiv here in 2021 for Christmas. This season we're opening with them, so they'll be doing their Broadway show. If you've never heard them, you need to hear them, whoever you might be, whether you're a really serious musician or arts aficionado, or you're just someone that likes, to be entertained. They are probably one of the best groups that I've experienced in my time as a musician and a teacher and a performing arts manager. All of the performers met when they were in Disney World as performers down there, and then they put this group together. It's a cappella, but you don't miss a thing because they create so many things musically that it's astounding what they're capable of. So they're opening the season on October 5th. It's a Saturday, 7 p.m. Second show, which is a tribute band. They're called Seven Bridges, and it's entitled The Ultimate Eagles Experience. These guys are, again, really, really fine musicians. If you're an Eagles fan, you need to come see this. If you close your eyes, it sounds like the Eagles from the 70s and the 80s. I mean, it's wow. Each one of the individual musicians plays one of the Eagles. They're playing that specific person, whether it's Joe Walsh or Glenn Fry. Each one of those people has a specific job, whether it's playing their instrument, guitar, drums, their vocals. It's incredible. So you'll want to see that. That's on November 2nd.
All right, let me see those hands again. Come on. It's gonna be a holiday tonight. A holiday tonight. I know, Lord, I know.
Second.
Talk about for a minute how you find some of these acts.
The process is, well, it's multifaceted, but one of the ways is a convention that we have on a yearly basis, except during, of course, COVID.
Sure.
But we have the opportunity throughout the year. There are conferences that go on throughout the country. Mm-hmm. There's a Midwest version, which I go to. There's one in New York City. There's one in Atlanta. There's one on the West Coast. And these conferences are put together. Artists are brought together by their sponsoring label name, and then they do. They have ballrooms and restaurants that they rent out, and then their groups perform like 20-minute snippets of their shows. So you can actually hear and see what they do in like a compacted, time frame. The events are, we do it in like a 4 to 5 day time frame. So there's a period of time that you're watching shows from 4 to like 1 in the morning, just seeing bits and pieces of shows that you can just move from place to place.
Taking notes, trying to figure out who works in your schedule, trying to figure out who works in your price range even at that time.
Yeah, the price range is important. What would fit with our audience, or what our audience has come to expect from us. Mm-hmm. I also then share this with our agent. Civic Hall has an agent that we work through. He's been with Civic Hall since the 90s. Something we trust. He's really done a great job for us throughout the years, putting together groups or packages that we can then market to the community here in Richmond and to the surrounding area, of course. But it has to do with the things you just mentioned, the price, will they fit? I get a little bit of feedback from him. I also use some of our board members who like to be on we have a committee then that we put together a whole list of the shows that we think potentially could be good, and then we narrow it down, and then we pick out the top 5, and then we go to town. So
that's the season.
Yeah, and that's the season.
October 5th, Voctive.
Correct.
November 2nd, Seven Bridges, the Ultimate Eagles Experience.
Yes, sir.
You always do a Christmas show. This sounds a little bit different. Dr. Kaboom, The Science of Santa?
Yeah.
Really?
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So Dr. Kaboom is a comedian / actually schooled scientist. The guy has a degree in science, I think chemistry. I'm not sure what university, but he's put together what is traditionally more of a children's program.
Okay.
But when he travels, or whenever you see it, for example, when I go to my conference, the only people that are in the room are adults. When he does his 20, 25-minute show, he's hilarious. And what you're seeing is also accessible to adults. It's almost like, when you go to the movies and you see Up, or you see one of the animated programs where there's also things that adults can relate to, because he plays to both kids and adults, and it's educational. Okay. So for Christmas, we're going to do a kids show in the afternoon at 12:30, and then in the evening on Friday, December 20th, he's going to do a family-friendly holiday show. And the premise behind this, of course, is to make it possible or feasible through science for Santa to be able to get around the globe in one night.
Oh, he's going to explain this? That should be good.
Explain it.
Oh, that's been the question that has been asked for centuries. How does Santa do it all in one night? We're going to hear the answer from Dr. Kaboom. Possibly.
It is also very interesting in that he has an accent that is hilarious.
Okay.
And he also plays to the audience, and he likes to have interaction. So it's a lot of fun. The parents, I think, adults are going to find him very, very entertaining. And the kids, I think, are also going to be very entertained as well. And a lot of times, for the kids shows, he brings kids up on stage. So
all right.
I'm assuming even in the evening, then he's going to want to.
You could be part of the show.
Yeah, bring some of the
by sitting
folks
in
up
the
on
audience.
the stage. Yeah, but I think it's going to be really fun, and it'll be great for the holiday. And it's December 20th is actually the last day of school before the winter break for Richmond Community Schools and surrounding schools. So it's right at that, I think, prime time to be doing it. We're getting out of school.
Yep.
We're getting ready for the holidays. It'll be great to have him here.
Chemical reaction, carbon dioxide pressure. If I close off this container and I keep building up that gas, I'm going to make pressure, yeah? Pressure we can use to our own advantage. I'm going to demonstrate, and then we do the cool part. Goggles on, vinegar, baking soda, tight-fitting lid. Kaboom!
Taking a couple of months off, January, February, coming back in March with something maybe a little bit different for you, Uptown.
Uptown. These guys are super talented. They say they're from New York. I'm assuming that the primary performers, which are the three guys in front, they may be out of New York. But then they've got a instrumental ensemble behind them that it's almost like you would see Earth, Wind, and Fire. The next song you'd be seeing the Spinners. The next song you'd be seeing Bruno Mars. They play really, really well, and these guys sing. They're like super great singers, and then they do choreography.
Like watching one of the Motown groups out of the 60s, or Boys to Men, or something along those lines.
Exactly. And they also have a following. So when I saw them this past year, I saw them at the conference. They had people that were following them into the conference to watch them. And
nice.
That's not normal. So, I mean, the place that they were performing was in Indianapolis. It's a small auditorium. And I saw the show before them did their little production. There were probably 15 people that watched. These guys came in, there were over 200 people that were then in this room because of these guys, and they're just electric.
Talk about how to get tickets coming up in just a little bit, but to wrap this up, you had the Eagles, we kind of had Bruno Mars, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and we're going to wrap up the year with some Elton John and Billy Joel.
Yeah. Michael Cavanaugh. If you're not familiar with Michael Cavanaugh, I suggest you check out some of the clips, go to YouTube, search him. He was chosen by Billy Joel himself to play Billy Joel in his Broadway musical Moving Out.
Nice.
He was in Las Vegas. Billy Joel came into the piano bar that he was playing in Vegas, and he was doing Piano Man. And after he heard him sing,
and he impressed the piano man.
He impressed the piano man, and that's when they made the negotiation was there in Vegas, and he said, "I need you to play me on Broadway." So he now travels and does Billy Joel and Elton John because he can play piano. He sings incredibly well. He's a really, really good entertainer. He's accessible to all ages. I think our older folks will really, really enjoy him. And then the younger people, especially those people that Billy Joel and Elton John are still pretty current in that they get new followers still.
Oh, sure.
And his sound is awesome. So he's going to be with us on May 3rd. So we're real excited about him being here too.
And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
Season tickets are on sale till when?
Season tickets are on sale until we get to Labor Day.
Okay.
So on the Tuesday after Labor Day, that's when individual tickets go on sale.
And season tickets can be purchased through?
You can call us at 765-973-3350, or you can go to our website. Our website's www.civichall.com, all lowercase. Just click on tickets. Now, you don't order them there. Don't be confused by that. We then receive an email, me, the box office manager, and then we'll contact you. This summer it's a little bit slower because the box office manager's on vacation. I'm going to be on vacation a little bit, so just be patient.
But school starts in early August,
right.
So you'll be able to connect with you all pretty much then. Season tickets will be going on through Labor Day and then the individual, but it sounds like this season's going to be really worth getting some season tickets for.
It's really, really good. I mean, so 3 of the shows that I mentioned have just performed in Indianapolis within the last month. And
and the ticket prices were probably higher than
our
what we're going to pay.
Our ticket price is roughly half.
You can't say what they are, but
if less of what the other places are. I mean, you know, you're going to get so much for the money. And again, it's not inexpensive, but if you were to go to Dayton, or if you were even to go into Indianapolis or even Muncie to see the same groups, your ticket price would be steeper than what we charge.
John Cook, Facilities Director, Civic Hall Performing Arts Center, with a great lineup coming up this season. Go to their website, civichall.org, for more information. Coming up, we'll have a conversation with Steve Stoller from the Richmond Jazz Orchestra.
A spark, an invitation into the world of the unknown. It moves us to change, to grow. It asks us to dream bigger. An idea is better shared. It ignites us, and we make each other bright. We can do great things together.
WCTV supports local entertainment. WCTV supports local information. WCTV supports our local students. WCTV needs your support to continue supporting our community, and it's easy to do. Become a member as an individual or family. Nonprofit and business memberships are also available, with benefits including video production and program sponsorship. Membership donations are critical, and when deciding where your support dollars go, support an organization that serves the community you live in. Visit WCTV.info or call 765-973-8488.
Welcome back to Access to the Arts. Thanks for staying with me. Want to remind you that Rock of Ages, the first show for Civic Theater, is actually coming up on August 8th through the 11th, and then the 15th through the 18th. Tickets for that show are actually available. You can find out a lot more about it. Go to gorct.org. That's right, Rock of Ages. It's going to be a great show. They're going to have some different seating I was hearing about. The band in Rock of Ages is not going to be down in the orchestra pit. I understand they're going to be up on stage, kind of part of the act. So it'll be a different show. So check it out. gorct.org if you need more information. Happy to have with us on Access to the Arts once again Steve Stoller, who's musical director for the Richmond Jazz Orchestra. Thanks for being with us again.
Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me.
Glad to do it. We had you here last year, talked a little bit about the fact that you were working on a CD. That has actually come out. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the coming months, but how was this to put together?
Oh, it was quite a project. Yeah, we recorded that actually last year. It was recorded at the Milk House Studios here in Richmond. Sound engineer was Jeff Templeton, a wonderful man to work with.
Yes, he is.
Yes, and we recorded 15 classic numbers from the 1940s. So this is music of Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, Artie Shaw, Harry James, and so on. So it was a wonderful project. Took a number of months to complete. Did a lot of editing in the studio afterwards, but we're really happy with the result, and we've had a lot of exciting response to it.
Cool. The reason we're here is to talk about Big Band Saturday Night, something we talked about last year. Before we get into that, tell us a little bit of background on the Richmond Jazz Orchestra. How did it come to be, and how many players do you have?
Well, we've been in existence now for 10 years. We have 18 musicians. So this includes saxophone players, trumpet players, trombone players, guitar, bass, drums, percussion, piano, and we also have 7 great vocalists who join us from time to time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did this come to be? I'm just curious.
Well, it started with an idea, as all things do, and it started fairly small. And we gradually built up over the years, and the word spread. And we now have some professional musicians who play with us, area high school band directors, other music teachers, some very talented adult players. And by design, because we're a nonprofit and our mission is educational above all else, we have some very gifted high school players with us as well.
You did a concert, you were telling me before we went on the air, and I missed it, with a couple of the high school bands recently.
Yes, the Richmond and Centerville High School Jazz Bands and us performed a joint jazz band concert at Centerville, at the Centerville Performing Arts Center, on May the 8th. Well attended. It was very exciting. The kids really, really loved it. And we're looking forward to another joint performance, actually on March 15th of 2025. We've just received funding from the Indiana Arts Commission for that, so we'll be able to hire and bring in some professional artists for some afternoon clinics with the kids, and then also to join us for a joint concert in the evening. So.
What drove you to music?
Well, I started out as a music major way back when, before I went into medicine, but was a student at the Jacobs School of Music at Indiana University in Bloomington. Just grew up, loving music, performed music in high school, and I thought that was going to be my career. But I've done music on the side. But that's how I got into it. I play the piano and the trumpet and sing, and been directing ensembles for many, many years. So I love it. I'm in retirement now from medicine, but I'm almost full-time now in music. So I've come full circle.
Big Band Saturday Night coming up in October 19th. You all have done this for a couple of years at least, I believe.
This will be the 3rd annual. The first was in 2022. And at that event, we did music of the 1940s. And then last year was the 1950s, and this year it'll be the 1960s. So yeah, it's called Big Band Saturday Night. This year, back in the 60s, and we'll be performing music of 37 different artists or musical groups. including rock and roll, rhythm and blues, pop, some Latin, and a little country.
Oh, that's going to be interesting with a big band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you all do this for free. Why is that?
Yeah. Well, we are a nonprofit organization, okay? So we're not in it to make money. And we are joining the Kiwanis Clubs of Richmond. The Kiwanis Clubs of Richmond are actually sponsoring this event.
Right.
It's a fundraiser for Riley Hospital for Children, as it has been the previous 2 years. We're performing for free. We have a number of sponsors for the event, corporate and individual, so all of the expenses of the event are covered. And, we have to pay certain expenses. We have to cover the expense of the Coleman Center, for example,
Right.
And other things. But all of the ticket proceeds will go to benefit Riley Hospital, and specifically their new statewide initiative to address the mental health crisis among Indiana's youth, which is pretty severe. They are actually instituting and training practitioners at primary care states throughout Indiana to help counsel kids and help them with depression and anxiety and other severe disorders.
Somebody wants tickets to this event. How
Yeah.
did they get them?
Easiest way, rather than give me the lengthy website address, is just call the RJO office at 765-935-2306. That's 935-2306.
All right. Big band Saturday night coming up October 19th, 7 to 9:30 at the Coleman Center. You all had a great crowd last year.
We did, yeah. We had well over 350 people. And I'm delighted to announce that we raised more than $18,000 for Riley Hospital. And again, for their foundation and for the great work that they do throughout the state, not just at their Indianapolis location. Excuse me.
Big band Saturday night is taking place. Sounds like it's going to be a party. Get your tickets early. The number again, 765-935-2306. My thanks to Steve for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you again, Eric.
This episode of Access to the Arts has been made possible through the support of First Bank Richmond, with 8 locations in Wayne County to serve you. First Bank Richmond and you, doing great things together.